My mom demanded I hand over my life savings, money I'd set aside for my first home so my sister could have her epic year abroad. When I refused, they called me heartless and selfish. What they didn't know is I had already emptied the account. Now they're calling and screaming, but I'm just sipping tea and… You know that feeling when you're always the responsible one? The one everyone counts on? For years, I thought that was my superpower. Turns out, it just made me the perfect target for a betrayal so deep, it shattered my entire world. My name's Rosalie, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the family safety net. The one who always stepped up, always paid for things, always picked up the pieces. Just the other night, Mom's voice took on that fake, syrupy sweetness she only uses when she wants something. "Rosie, honey, could you grab the serving dishes?" I found my sister, Marley, glued to her phone, scrolling. "Mom needs help," I told her. "Just a sec," she mumbled, still posting about some amazing opportunity. Of course, I carried the dishes myself, like always. The kitchen reeked of Mom's pot roast, her signature, buttering up dish. Warning bells were practically blaring. "So proud of you. Working so hard," Mom chirped, stirring gravy. "You've always been my rock." I just stared at her. "What's going on, Mom? Can't a mother just appreciate her daughter?" She called Marley 3 more times before she finally graced us with her presence. We sat down to eat, and I just waited for the other shoe to drop. It always did. Mom started cutting her meat with surgical precision. "Marley has the most exciting news." Marley's face lit up. "I got into this exclusive influencer retreat. 6 months in Europe, learning from top content creators. It's going to launch my career." "That's nice," I said, my guard up. "How much does it cost?" Mom jumped in before Marley could even open her mouth. "Well, that's what we wanted to discuss. It's quite an investment, but the returns could be incredible." Marley blurted it out, $45,000. "But it includes everything." I choked on my water. $45,000. "We know you've been saving for a house," Mom said, reaching for my hand. I yanked mine back before she could touch me. "But sweetheart, you're single, no children. This could change Marley's life." My blood began to boil. My savings could change my life too. "That's why I've been working 60-hour weeks for 3 years." "Don't be selfish, Rosie," Marley pouted. "You're so good with money, you can save it up again in no time." And then Mom dropped the bombshell. "I already put down the deposit. We just need you to transfer the rest by Friday." My fork clattered to the plate. "You what?" "5,000 non-refundable," Mom said, like it was nothing. "I knew you'd want to help your sister achieve her dreams. You always do." I just stared at my plate, a lifetime of memories flashing through my mind. My college fund, gone to Marley's art school tuition. The car I'd saved for, now Marley's graduation present. The countless times I'd covered her rent, her phone bills, her so-called emergencies. "Well," Marley pressed. "When can you do the transfer?" I stood up slowly, my chair scraping across the hardwood floor. "I need some air." "Don't be dramatic. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us." Mom's voice rose. But my hands were steady, despite the hurricane of rage brewing inside me. I walked to the door. "I'll think about it." "The deposit deadline is Friday," Marley yelled after me. "Don't ruin this for me." I drove home in a daze, parked in my apartment complex, and just sat in the dark car. For a long time, my phone buzzed. Text after text. From Mom, "Don't disappoint your sister. Family comes first." From Marley, "I already told my followers about the trip. Don't make me look bad." Mom again, "I raised you better than this." I opened my banking app, staring at the numbers I'd worked so hard to build. $87,000. My future. My freedom. My thumb hovered over the transfer button. Then, something shifted inside me. Like a glass wall shattering in slow motion. I thought about the house I'd been dreaming of. The garden I'd planned. The life I'd put on hold for everyone else. I clicked away from the transfer screen. I opened a new tab. Not to send money, but to move it. All of it. My mother's voice echoed in my head. "Our family comes first." For the first time in my life, I decided to be my own family. I texted my friend Willow. "Remember that conversation we had about offshore accounts? I'm ready to talk." Then I turned off my phone, poured myself a glass of wine, and actually smiled. Sometimes, being responsible means being responsible for yourself first. The money would be gone by morning, and for once, I wouldn't feel guilty about it. "You're really doing this?" Willow asked the next morning, her laptop screen reflecting in her glasses as she typed. We were in her home office, sun streaming through the blinds. "No second thoughts?" "None," I said. I watched as she worked her legal compliance magic, creating a labyrinth for my money to travel through. "How long until it's secure?" 24 hours, she said. Then not even God himself could trace it. She paused, looking at me. "Your mom's going to lose it." "She lost it years ago," I said, a hollow laugh escaping me. "Remember when Marley crashed my car?" Willow groaned. "God, that was insane. No insurance, totally her fault, and somehow, you ended up apologizing. Your mom said you should have known better than to trust Marley with something so valuable." Guess she was right about that one. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Mom. "Sent you the account details. Make sure you use the exact reference number." I silenced it. I pulled out my laptop, opening my work email. Time for phase 2. "What are you writing?" Willow peered over my shoulder. "My 2 weeks' notice. I'd found a cabin rental up north. Remote. Peaceful. Excellent Wi-Fi." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. "I'm calling it a sabbatical." My phone rang on cue. It was Cameron from work. "Hey," I answered, putting it on speaker. "A sabbatical? Seriously?" His voice carried more concern than anger. "Everything okay? Just need some time to focus on personal projects." This wouldn't have anything to do with your sister's social media announcement about her life-changing European adventure, would it? I froze. "What announcement?" Willow quickly pulled up Instagram. There it was. Marley's latest post. A collage of European landmarks with the caption, "Can't wait to start my influencer journey thanks to my amazing family for making dreams come true." The audacity, Willow whispered. Cameron was still waiting. "Look, if you need to talk, I'm good, really. Just need a change of scenery." After hanging up, I started packing. Each item I placed in my suitcase felt like another brick in the wall I was building between my old life and whatever came next. The doorbell rang. I knew who it was. Before I even opened it. "Why aren't you answering your phone?" Mom burst in, Marley trailing behind her. "We need to finalize the transfer today." "I'm kind of busy right now," I said, continuing to pack. Marley spotted my suitcase. "Where are you going?" Her voice cracked. "But what about my trip?" "The deposit deadline." "It's not my problem," I said, zipping up the suitcase. "Neither is your journey of self-discovery." Mom stepped between us. "Now listen here, young lady. You can't just— Actually, I can." I pulled an envelope from my desk. "This is for you." Mom tore it open, her face darkening as she read. "What is this?" "A list," I said. "Every dollar I've given this family over the past 10 years. Every emergency I've covered. Every dream of mine I've sacrificed." I pointed to the total at the bottom. "Turns out I've already funded about 3 European trips." "That's different," Marley protested. "Those were real emergencies. Like when you needed bail money after stealing from your workplace. Or when you maxed out Mom's credit cards on that wellness retreat." "We're family," Rosie, Mom said, her voice trembling. "We're supposed to help each other. Funny how that help only flows in one direction." I grabbed my suitcase. "I left something on my desk at work. Consider it my parting gift." They followed me to the door, protests growing louder. I turned one last time. "Bon voyage, Marley. Hope you enjoy finding yourself. Just do it on your own dime this time." I drove straight to work, ignored the stares from my colleagues, and placed a sealed envelope on my desk. Inside was a note that would detonate the comfortable illusion of family obligation I'd lived under for so long. My phone showed 15 missed calls by the time I reached the highway. I turned it off and tossed it in the glove compartment. The cabin was a 3-hour drive north through winding forest roads where cell service was spotty at best. Perfect. As the city disappeared in my rearview mirror, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Peace. The kind that comes from choosing yourself, even when everyone tells you it's wrong. Let them call it selfish. Let them rage and guilt and manipulate. I was done being the responsible one. Sometimes, the most responsible thing you can do is walk away. 3 days into my self-imposed exile, I finally turned my phone back on. It nearly exploded with notifications. 47 missed calls. 93 text messages. And the voicemails? Oh, the voicemails. I sat on the cabin's porch, wrapped in a blanket, and hit play on the first one. How dare you? Mom's voice crackled through the speaker. You ungrateful snake. After everything I did for you. Your sister is devastated. Delete. Rosie, I already put down deposits for the hotels in Paris. Marley's voice wavered between rage and panic. This isn't funny anymore. You're ruining everything. Delete. I worked through them chronologically, watching their emotions evolve from anger to desperation. It was like a theater performance, except I wasn't buying tickets to this show anymore. Then my phone rang. It was Willow. They showed up at my office, she said, without preamble. Your mom and Marley, making a scene about how I must know where you are. What did you tell them? That they should respect your boundaries, she said, a laugh in her voice. Your mom called me a corrupting influence, by the way. Oh, and you might want to check Marley's latest Instagram story. She's having quite the meltdown. I pulled up Instagram. Marley's face filled the screen, tears streaming down her expertly contoured cheeks. My own sister abandoned me. She knew how much this meant to me. Now I have to cancel everything because she's being selfish and toxic. The comments were a battlefield, half sympathizing with her, half calling her entitled. I closed the app, feeling nothing but a strange fascination. My laptop pinged with an email from Cameron. Hey, hope the sabbatical is giving you what you need. Things are weird here without you. Your mom came by yesterday, but security didn't let her up. Whatever's going on, I hope you're okay. P.S. Remember that time you covered for me during the Anderson presentation? I owe you one. I smiled, remembering how Cameron had food poisoning that day. I'd stepped in without hesitation, just like I always did for everyone. The memory triggered another one. Prom night senior year. You can't go, Mom had said. Marley's having another anxiety attack about her breakup. She needs you here. I'd given my ticket to someone else, spent the night holding my sister while she cried about a boy who dumped her after 2 weeks. My dress hung unworn in the closet until I donated it. A text from Willow broke my reverie. Found something interesting on Marley's old posts. Check the background of her New Year's party photos, specifically the one from last January. I scrolled through Marley's feed until I found it. At first, I didn't see anything unusual. Just my sister in a sparkly dress, champagne glass raised, standing in someone's kitchen. Then I noticed the details behind her. The distinctive blue backsplash. The copper pots hanging on the wall. My stomach dropped. I knew that kitchen. It was Sean's kitchen. My ex-boyfriend Sean's kitchen. The timestamp said January 15th. We were still dating then. Another text from Willow. There's more. Want me to keep digging? My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Did I want to know? The answer surprised me. Yes. Show me everything. I spent the next hour listening to the wind in the trees, watching birds swoop past my porch, trying to process what this might mean. My phone kept buzzing with new voicemails. Rosalie, please, Mom's latest message sounded defeated. Just come home. We can talk about this like adults. Delete. You're being so dramatic. Marley again. It's not like you can't save up again. You're good at that boring stuff. Delete. The sun was setting when Cameron texted. Your sister just posted something about toxic family members who hide behind fake responsibility. Want to grab coffee when you're back? No pressure to talk about it. I responded, coffee sounds good. But I might have some questions about last January's office New Year party. The one Sean attended. His reply came quickly. I wondered if you'd ever find out. It wasn't my place to tell you, but you deserve to know the truth. The pieces were falling into place now. Sean's sudden distance last spring. The way he'd ended things with no real explanation. Marley's mysterious emotional crisis that same month. I opened my laptop and booked a return ticket to the city. Not today. Not tomorrow. But soon. Very soon. Going somewhere? Willow texted, probably seeing the confirmation email. Yes, I replied. I think it's time to return their messages in person. The sun disappeared behind the mountains, leaving the forest in shadow. I stayed on the porch, listening to the growing darkness, feeling something shift inside me. The hurt was transforming into something else. Something cold and clear. And powerful. They wanted the responsible sister back. Be careful what you wish for. Start from the beginning, I told Willow over video chat. Show me everything you found. She shared her screen, pulling up a folder of screenshots. It starts with these Instagram stories from last January. See how they're both at the same restaurant on the same night? Different tables, different posts, but look at the timestamps. I leaned closer to my laptop. Sean's post showed him having dinner with work friends. Marley showed her having a spontaneous girls' night. Same distinctive wall art in the background. Keep going, I said, my voice steady. Then there's this. Willow opened a series of photos. Marley started showing up at his gym, his coffee shop, always playing it off as coincidence. The timeline emerged like a connect-the-dots picture I never wanted to see. January. Accidental meetings. February. Late-night texts that Sean always explained. Away. March. The sudden breakup. I thought he ghosted me because he wasn't ready for commitment, I said. About that, Willow pulled up a direct message exchange between Marley and her friend. Look at the date. March 15th. 2 days before Sean ended things. The message from Marley, he's finally doing it. Says he'll break up with her this weekend. Her friend's reply, OMG. But isn't that your sister? She's so boring, she'll probably just throw herself into work like always. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't crack. I felt nothing but Arctic clarity. Mom knew, apparently. Willow's face was grim. There's more. Remember that emotional crisis Marley had in April, when you gave up that graduate school scholarship to stay and help? She pulled up more messages. The crisis was staged. A convenient breakdown to keep me distracted while they were together all spring, I said. While I was working overtime to help pay for her therapy. Until he dumped her too, in June. Willow's voice was gentle. That's when she actually did have a breakdown. My phone buzzed. Cameron. You free to talk, he texted. I called him immediately. What do you know? They weren't exactly subtle at the office holiday party, he said. I saw them disappear into the copy room. Wanted to tell you, but I wouldn't have believed you. I closed my eyes. I would have defended them both. You always did, he paused. There's security footage from that night, if you want proof. The video arrived in my email. Grainy, but clear enough. Marley pressing Sean against the wall. Both laughing. The timestamp burned in the corner, 11:47 p.m. I'd been helping clean up the main conference room. Always the responsible one. I've got one more thing, Willow said. A TikTok Marley posted and deleted. Someone saved it. The video played. Marley in Sean's apartment, wearing one of his shirts, dancing to some pop song. Caption: When you upgrade from boring to exciting. The date: 2 weeks after we broke up. I opened my banking app, looking at the transfer records from that period. $3,000 to Marley for emergency therapy. $2,000 to Mom to help with Marley's recovery. They'd used my money to fund their betrayal. Rosalie? Willow's voice was concerned. What are you thinking? I pulled up my calendar. Mom was hosting her monthly brunch this Sunday. The one where she paraded her perfect family in front of her friends. You're not. Oh, I am. I started booking my flight. Time to return the favor of their honesty. What are you going to do? I thought about all the evidence. The messages. The photos. The videos. The years of manipulation. The money. The lies. I'm going to give them exactly what they wanted, I said. Their responsible daughter, showing up right on time, with everything documented and organized. They always said I was good with details. Cameron texted again. Whatever you're planning, I've got your back. And about 50 pages of receipts from the office security logs, if you need them. You know this will burn every bridge, Willow warned. I looked around the cabin at the peace I'd found in choosing myself, at the strength that came from standing alone. Some bridges need to burn, I said. Especially when they're only built to let people walk all over you. I booked the flight for Sunday morning, early enough to make the brunch, late enough that they wouldn't know I was coming. One more thing, Willow said. Your mom's been telling people you're away on a work assignment. Keeping up appearances. Perfect, I said. Let her keep that illusion for a few more days. I closed my laptop and packed my bag. The truth was, I wasn't even angry anymore. I was something much more dangerous. I was ready. Mom's Sunday brunches always started at exactly 11. I parked across the street at 11:15, watching her guests arrive in their perfectly coordinated outfits and practice smiles. Through the front window, I could see Marley holding court, probably sharing her latest Instagram statistics. My phone buzzed. Willow, you sure about this? I adjusted the folder in my lap, thick with printed screenshots and bank statements. Never been more sure. The doorbell chimed as I entered. Conversations stuttered to a halt. Mom froze mid-pour with a mimosa pitcher in her hand. Rosalie? Her voice cracked. You're supposed to be on a work assignment. Surprise, I smiled, stepping into the living room where 12 of her closest friends sat watching. Hope I'm not interrupting anything. Marley's face went utterly pale. What are you doing here? Joining brunch, I said. Isn't that what family does? Mom recovered quickly, plastering on her hostess' smile. Of course, everyone. My eldest daughter finally made it home. She's been so busy with her career lately. Oh yes, I said. I set my folder on the coffee table. I've been doing a lot of research, actually. Would you like to see what I found? Honey, Mom's voice dropped to a warning whisper. This isn't the time. It's exactly the time. I opened the folder. Since everyone's here to celebrate family, let's talk about family loyalty. The room went silent as I pulled out the first page, a bank statement showing years of transfers to Marley and Mom. See, I've been wondering why I needed to fund a European trip when I've already paid for so many others. I laid out more papers. Like this therapy session last April, the one that wasn't actually therapy. Marley stood up. Stop it. Or these hotel receipts? Another page. Interesting. Certain familiar kitchens. Rosalie. Mom stepped forward. You're embarrassing yourself. No, I said. I'm just being thorough. You always praised my attention to detail, didn't you? I turned to their audience. Did you know my sister was sleeping with my boyfriend while I paid her rent? Mom did. Gasps rippled through the room. Someone's mimosa glass tipped over. That's a lie, Marley shouted, but her voice shook. I pulled out my phone, played the saved TikTok video. Marley dancing in Sean's apartment, wearing his shirt. The timestamp unmistakable. You always said I was boring, I told Marley. Too responsible. Too focused on boring stuff like saving money, building a future, supporting family. Mrs. Patterson, Mom's best friend, stood up. Deborah, is this true? Mom's hands trembled. It's complicated, actually. It's very simple. I laid out the final page, the chat logs between Marley and Sean. You raised one daughter to take and one to give. But you never taught either of us about consequences. Please, Mom whispered. Not like this. Like what? I asked. Honestly? Openly? With evidence. I gestured to the scattered papers. Isn't that what you taught me to be? Methodical? Responsible? Thorough. The room was emptying now, guests mumbling excuses as they fled the scene. Mom's carefully curated social circle dissolving in real time. Marley lunged for the papers, but I stepped back. Don't bother. Everyone in your comment section already has screenshots. Amazing how quickly things spread online, isn't it? You've ruined everything, she screamed. No, I said calmly. You did that. I'm just showing everyone the receipts. Literally. Mom sank onto the couch, her perfect facade crumbling. Why are you doing this to us? Because you did it to me first. Every time you used my loyalty against me. Every time you praised my responsibility while exploiting it. I picked up my folder. Every time you called me boring while spending my money. The last few guests hurried out, leaving just the three of us in the wreckage of brunch. Mimosas forgotten. Pastries untouched. Reputations in shreds. What do you want? Mom asked quietly. Nothing. I headed for the door. I already have what I want. My freedom. My peace. My truth. We're your family, Marley said, tears streaming down her face. I paused in the doorway. No. You're just people I used to set myself on fire to keep warm. Outside, the spring sun was bright and clear. My phone buzzed with notifications. Apparently, Marley's followers were having quite a reaction to the revelations. I didn't check them. Instead, I texted Cameron, "It's done." His reply came quickly. "Coffee?" "Yes," I wrote back. But somewhere new. "I'm done with old haunts." As I drove away, I caught a glimpse of Mom and Marley in my rearview mirror, standing in the doorway, looking lost. For the first time in my life, their pain didn't feel like my responsibility. Sometimes, the most responsible thing you can do is let people face their own consequences. "Your sister's losing followers by the thousands," Willow reported over the phone as I drove back to my cabin. That wellness brand she was promoting just dropped her. Something about not aligning with their values of authenticity. "Karma works faster in the digital age," I said, turning onto the forest road. "That's not all. Your mom's brunch friends are talking." Mrs. Patterson apparently called the country club committee to resign her co-chair position with my mother. Said she couldn't associate with that kind of behavior. I pulled into the cabin's driveway, killing the engine. And Sean? Oh, that's the best part. His new girlfriend saw everything. Posted a 3-page statement about toxic men and gaslighting. He's gone private on all socials. The cabin welcomed me back with its peaceful silence. I'd only been gone 24 hours, but it felt like weeks. My phone buzzed with a text from Cameron. "Heard about the brunch showdown. Brutal but brilliant. You okay?" "Better than okay," I replied. "Just submitted my mortgage application. Need a reference." I'm great at describing responsible people who definitely won't waste money on entitled siblings' European adventures, he texted back. I laughed out loud, the sound echoing in the empty cabin. It felt good to laugh, genuinely, again. Willow sent a screenshot of Marley's latest post, taking a break from social media to focus on healing from toxic family trauma. Link in bio for my upcoming video series about narcissistic siblings. The comments are savage, Willow added. Nobody's buying her victim narrative. My laptop pinged with an email notification. The mortgage company wanted additional documentation. I started gathering the paperwork, feeling a strange sense of peace in the mundane task. Another text, this time from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Amanda. Sean's ex. Just wanted to say thank you. Wish I'd known the truth about him sooner." I saved her number. Survivors should stick together. The afternoon sun streamed through the cabin windows as I worked on my loan application. Each document I submitted felt like another brick in the foundation of my new life. My phone kept buzzing with updates. Mom's Bridge Club canceled their weekly meeting. Marley's influencer network removed her from their roster. Sean's company posted about their zero-tolerance policy for workplace relationships. I ignored them all, focusing instead on the future I was building, the one they'd tried to steal. You know what's funny? I texted Willow. I thought revenge would feel hot, like anger. But it's cold. Clean. "Ice burns too," she replied. "Sometimes worse than fire." Cameron called as I was making dinner. "Want to hear something interesting?" "Always." "Remember that project lead position you wanted last year? The one they gave to Sean? The one he completely messed up." "How could I forget? HR is reviewing all his appointments now. Apparently dating your supervisor's daughter while she's still dating your coworker raises some ethical concerns." I stirred my pasta sauce. "Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy." "They're also reviewing that promotion. The position's opening up again." "Thanks, but I'm good. Actually looking at some remote work opportunities. Think I might keep the cabin." "Smart. Though I'll miss our coffee breaks. We can always do virtual ones." The conversation shifted to normal things, work gossip, weekend plans, a new restaurant he tried. It felt refreshingly ordinary. After dinner, I sat on the porch, watching the sunset. My phone showed more missed calls from Mom and Marley, but also messages of support from unexpected places. Old classmates always knew something was off about how they treated you. Mom's former friends, "You were so brave to speak up." Even Dad, who'd stayed neutral in family drama for years. "Proud of you, kiddo. Should have done this sooner." A notification popped up. My mortgage application had moved to the next stage. Perfect credit score. Stable income. Solid savings. Everything they tried to take from me now working in my favor. My phone buzzed again. "Willow, heads up. Marley's car just passed me, heading towards your cabin. Must have tracked down the location. I didn't panic. Didn't rush to lock the doors or turn off the lights. Instead, I made a fresh pot of coffee and waited. Sure enough, headlights appeared on the forest road. 20 minutes later, gravel crunched under tires as a car pulled up. I poured 2 cups of coffee, one black, one with too much sugar, just how Marley always took it. Time to have that honest conversation she'd been posting about. Let her come. I wasn't the same person who used to fear these confrontations. Who used to back down, give in, make peace. Sometimes peace isn't what's needed. Sometimes it's clarity. The knock came softer than I expected. 3 hesitant taps instead of Marley's usual dramatic pounding. I opened the door. She looked smaller, somehow, without her usual perfect makeup and carefully curated outfit. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her hair pulled back in a messy bun. Coffee? I held out the sugary cup. She took it, hands shaking slightly. How did you know I was coming? Same way I knew about you and Sean. I pay attention. She followed me to the porch, sitting as far from me as the space allowed. Moths danced around the porch light, casting shifting shadows. My sponsors dropped me, she said finally. All of them. I know. Mom's friends won't talk to her anymore. She stared into her coffee. She cried all day. I know that too. You've ruined everything. The words burst out of her. My career. Mom's social life. Everything we built. You mean everything you built on lies? I took a sip of coffee. On my money? My sacrifice? My pain? I was lost. Tears started falling. You don't understand what it's like living in your shadow. Perfect Rosalie. So responsible. So mature. Mom always said you could handle everything. And that gave you the right to sleep with my boyfriend? She flinched. I didn't mean for that to happen. Really? Because those messages to your friend seemed pretty intentional. I was jealous, okay? She stood up, pacing. You had everything figured out. A career. Savings. A 5-year plan. Even Sean talked about how amazing you were. So you decided to take him? He wasn't happy with you. He said you were too focused on work, too boring. While spending my money on hotels to meet you? I kept my voice level. Tell me, did he seem happier during those 2 weeks you lasted? She stopped pacing. How did you know he dumped you too? Same way I know he's done this before. 3 other women before me. Always trading down to someone younger, easier to manipulate. You weren't special, Marley. You were just convenient. The truth hit her like a physical blow. She sank back into her chair. Mom knew, she whispered. She knew what he was like, but she said it would be good for me to date someone successful. I repeated. Someone with a good job? The job he got instead of me. I didn't know about that part. You didn't want to know about anything. It was easier to take than to think. Silence stretched between us, filled only with cricket songs and distant calls. Can you ever forgive me? She asked finally. Forgiveness is for mistakes, I said. This was a choice. Multiple choices, made over months. You chose to pursue him. Chose to lie. Chose to take my money while mocking me behind my back. I can change. I'll get therapy. Real therapy this time. I'll pay you back. With what money? Your influencer career is over. Your credits maxed out. And I'm not funding your redemption arc. Fresh tears spilled. Then why did you let me come here? If you won't forgive me, why even talk to me? I sat down, my coffee cup still in hand. Because you needed to hear the truth from someone who won't cushion it. Won't excuse it. Won't let you turn it into another story where you're the victim. I am a victim. Of Sean. Of pressure. Of your own choices. I stood up. And now you get to live with them, just like I had to live with being your safety net for years. She grabbed my arm as I turned to go inside. Please, Rosie. You're my sister. No. I gently removed her hand. I was your ATM. Your emotional support animal. Your backup plan. But I was never really your sister, not in any way that mattered. What am I supposed to do now? Whatever you want. That's the point of consequences. They're yours to handle for once. I'm not responsible for fixing your life. I opened the cabin door. She stayed seated, looking lost. Mom wants to have a family meeting, she said quietly. To work things out. There's nothing to work out. The truth is out. The money's gone. The facade is broken. I stepped inside. Tell her I said goodbye. That's it? 28 years of family, just over. I thought about all the years I'd given them. All the dreams I'd sacrificed. All the times I'd chosen them over myself. No, I said. It was over the moment you both decided my love was a resource to exploit. This is just me finally accepting it. I closed the door, leaving her on the porch. Through the window, I watched her sit there for a long time, shoulders shaking with sobs. I didn't open the door again. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for someone is let them face the reality they created. Even if that reality doesn't include you anymore. The keys to my new house felt heavy in my palm. Not the dream home I'd originally planned, but something better. A small cottage with a garden, nestled in the same forest area as my rental cabin. Far enough from the city to breathe, close enough to still work remotely. Need help with that box? Cameron asked, carrying in a stack of kitchenware. I've got it. I placed the last of my books on the built-in shelves. Thanks for helping with the move. Willow burst through the door with takeout bags. Housewarming picnic. Also, you might want to check your mail. There's a letter from your mom. I took the cream-colored envelope she held out. The handwriting was unmistakable. Mom's perfect cursive, probably written with her special stationery set. You going to read it? Cameron asked. I walked to the fireplace, the feature that had sold me on this house, and struck a match. The letter curled and blackened in the flames. Already know what it says, I said. I'm sorry you feel that way. Or, we should talk about this as a family. Or my personal favorite, I don't understand why you're being so difficult. Willow spread out our impromptu picnic on the floor. Speaking of difficult, did you see Marley's trying to rebrand? Authentic living coach or something. Good for her, I meant it. Hope she finds whatever she's looking for without your credit card, Cameron teased. Especially without my credit card. We ate cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes and the promise of new beginnings. Through the window, I could see my small garden plot, already marked out for spring planting. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad, your mother's crying about the burned letter. Says you're being cruel. I typed back, sometimes boundaries feel cruel to people who benefited from their absence. True, he replied. Proud of you, kid. This place yours. I sent him a photo of the cottage. He responded with a thumbs up, suits you. Willow pulled out a bottle of champagne. Housewarming toast. Actually, I stood up. I want to show you something first. I led them to what would be my home office. On the wall hung a single frame, containing 3 things, my mortgage approval, my first set of house keys, and a small note I'd written to myself the night I decided to leave. Choose yourself. My therapist suggested it, I explained. A reminder that boundaries aren't selfish. Speaking of boundaries, Cameron said, Sean tried to add me on LinkedIn yesterday. Let me guess, job hunting bingo? Apparently ethical violations don't look great on resumes. We returned to our picnic, where Willow poured champagne into paper cups. To new beginnings. To consequences. I countered, raising my cup. To choosing yourself. Cameron added. The sunset painted my new walls in shades of gold and pink. Outside, birds called their evening songs. My phone stayed quiet. No desperate texts. No guilt trips. No emergencies requiring my savings. You know what's weird? I said, helping Willow pack up the leftovers. I always thought being alone would feel empty. But it doesn't. You're not alone, she corrected. You're just free. Cameron checked his watch. Speaking of freedom, want to grab coffee tomorrow? That new place by the lake opened up. The one with the ridiculous pastry names. I smiled. Sure. But not because I need saving, obviously. He grinned. Because you like ridiculous pastry names. After they left, I sat on my porch, watching stars appear above the trees. Another letter from Mom lay unopened in the mailbox. Tomorrow, it would join its predecessor in the fireplace. My phone lit up with a final text from Willow. You good? I looked around at my small, perfect space. At the garden waiting for seeds. At the walls ready for paint. At the life I'd chosen instead of the one I'd been guilted into living. Better than good, I replied. I'm home. I turned my phone off and went inside, leaving the porch light dark. No more beacons for lost family members seeking redemption. No more signals for midnight emergencies or last-minute bailouts. Just peace. Just choice. Just me. The cottage creaked and settled around me, already feeling more like home than anywhere else ever had. Tomorrow, I'd paint the kitchen yellow, plant herbs in the garden, create the life I wanted, not the one I was expected to maintain. But tonight, I simply sat in my quiet living room, listening to the wind in the trees, and savored the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. Nothing. No drama. No demands. No guilt. Just the soft, steady rhythm of a heart finally beating for itself. And it was enough. More than enough. It was everything.